we are going to explore the tip of a massive iceberg around the sacred lioness energy and a powerful relationship with the great warrior, healer, goddess consciousness. The lioness, warrior, and healer angle of light serves as protectors or guardians of this realm in female form, with a consciousness that serves as a primordial lineage of powerful female beings that have walked within the Earth-Tara-Gaia timelines or ascending consciousness in. And perhaps you, like me, also belong to this lineage. And I've recently gained profound insights that I'd like to share through this angle of light, and have discovered significant truths by delving into the depths of varying aspects of this realm. So let's tap into the beauty of why the fierce and compassionate lineage of goddess warriors are also known as what we call healers, for there's a profound reason. So one major revelation that I've had is why the realm lacks vitality. So why both animals and humans are not living as long as they could be living, and why there is a prevalent scarcity of life force. I would equate life force to vitality. So why would life force energy be siphoned? That's a big question. And what's happening to our food, water, and air? These are the kinds of hard questions that I've followed until I got to a point where I was shown why. And of course, as with all things, there's always going to be more and more that will be revealed, but the exploration thus far into those big questions has proven to be truly mind-blowing. And so I just want to talk for a moment about the lioness, warrior, healer lineage, and now serving as a lineage of consciousness, because the beings that once walked in the timelines are not returning in that form. And there's a big reason why. And those realms had to separate from this realm to keep the core or creator realms safe. And so we are on a reclamation mission. And this is really what I've seen into the lioness. When you look into the lioness as a symbol, it has been an important symbol to humanity for tens of thousands of years and appears in themes across Europe, Asia, Africa. And in fact, there are tomb paintings in Kemet in an area called Nekhen around 3500 BCE that includes images of lions, including an image of a deity flanked by two lions in an upright posture. Kemet is the name of the now known area that's called Egypt. So I'll share more on that another time because I'm going on a whole exploration journey into all of that. But coming from that timeline, that Kemet timeline, now we say Egyptian timeline, but it's really Kemet, Khemit. There's varying spellings. Anyway, from that time frame, Sekhmet is one example. And of course, depicted as a woman with a lioness head, which symbolizes this exact goddess lineage of warriors and healers. And of course, goddess, what that means is one who comes into female form. There are many other goddess warrior healers that have been known throughout many cultures. So we have Brigid of the Celtic area, but of course, she was known in many other cultures. So it's not just Celtic at all. Nafanua in the Samoan culture, who I've actually connected with as a powerful energy from the Polynesian islands and Samoan culture. And there's so much to know about Nafanua, which we'll have to go on that deep dive in the future. But also, of course, Sekhmet of Kemet, of course, also known as Egypt, as I noted earlier. There was also Serket in Kemet, who is another healer warrior. The list goes on and on. So the ultimate lineage traced from my inner knowing into the God worlds, into the creator worlds, And these are core worlds of our world. And there is the Lioness of God, and that is Ariel. That is the ultimate lineage that I have seen. Now, I'll dive into that specific Ariel topic in other content, but what we're talking about really is a blend of strength with ultimate compassion. It is the cosmic mother lineage. And of course, the cosmic mother lineage spans not just in the female form. I'm just speaking to the female form lineage that I am a part of. Of course, cosmic mother frequency comes into men and women. And the cosmic mother frequency, we could also say the ray, the blue ray, is also related to the mother of dragons, who is now the reclamation of the Tiamat, mother of dragons, consciousness, connection back into that energy is happening right now. And this lineage is also dragon protectors. Now I'm talking about the original dragons, not the inverted version of dragons created as evil, so to speak. So I actually have a video that go over dragons and what that energy is, and that these beings are sentient, but it is this powerful light. And that video is called Dragons Rise, if you want to learn more about my sharings in that. And then I also have another video that I went over called The Awakening Lands of Albion and Dragon. So that has a lot of information too. But this lineage is about blending strength, courage, bravery, honor, mixed with the healing that is done through compassion and empathy, etc. So that is the magic of what the lineage holds. These two aspects, warrior, healer, have been very difficult to blend into my being. And the process that goes around all of that, and what those of us of the lineage, the process that we must go through to harmonize those frequencies, it takes a lot of work. And holding that true and original source code of what a warrior actually means, melded with the energy of one who assists or guides in healing, these seem like very disconnected energies, but not when you get to the core of the truth as to why they go together. It is about guardian protector consciousness, ultimately. Over the past 3 years, I've been training as a master herbalist under the school that Dr. Terry Willard launched in 1975. I actually call Dr. Willard a Jedi master herbalist, and he's truly, truly one of the greats. And I have a while to go before I complete all of that. But what I added to that recently is that I underwent a very powerful 16-week training with the RCP Institute, that is the Root Cause Protocol Institute, learning with Morley Robbins and his team. And so I have become a Root Cause Protocol mineral consultant. A mineral consultant means knowing that when minerals are out of balance in our body or in an animal's body, at the cellular level, what comes next? So first you have dysfunction at the mineral level. Next is metabolic dysfunction. That metabolic dysfunction expresses itself differently in animals and humans alike. That expression, or what we have called diseases in the body, all of that expression is impacted by the terrain within the body, whether we're talking about an animal or a human. Now I'm getting into the healer aspect, right? What this has shown me very plainly is that there aren't diseases, but there is mineral dysregulations in the body that then creates metabolic dysfunction. And that metabolic dysfunction is truly the root cause. So if you get to the root, that's the key. This allows us to begin to see that most things aren't actually broken. When we give our multidimensional bodies, animal or human, what it foundationally needs, then our multidimensional aspects of who we truly are can begin to turn on all of the system. This allows our body to then begin the process to repair itself as it is and always was designed, origin, organic, original creation always designed to do in humans and animals alike. And so as I've been melding the primordial healing wisdom with that more modern lens of what's really going on in the world and why health has been so impacted, what it has done is it's instilled deep wisdom into me and really very plainly seeing what we face in these modern days, what's really going on in the bodies of animals and humans, what's really going on also is affecting the earth, etc., etc. And what we face today is not anything compared to even 60 years ago, and not even the same world as if we were to look to 200 years ago in terms of the toxins, etc., that we face today. Anything beyond, if we look 200 years ago, we can't even compare that to the now time at all. All of this true healing wisdom has really taken me into some crazy places, and of course, the wisdom always lies outside of anything that's mainstream. I'm seeing these far larger truths of how we really got to where we are today. And then this underscore, which is, oh, and by the way, it was no accident at all. I'm just going to share a little bit about this and really where the profundity of it all has led me. And this has been a recent, just another layer of things. And I've really gone through a lot in this past, even just week, taking some time off. And it really sparked a remembering that I want to share with you. I've been hearing the words, or the energy that there was something that I needed to let go. And so this is the learnings of the consciousness that I am streaming, and it is the Lioness, Goddess, Warrior, Healer lineage. So if you're of this lineage, probably have had similar experiences, or perhaps this is an experience that could also assist you in letting go of something. So we need to share these journeys and quests, don't we? I've been seeing this realm and the flora and the fauna and earth and humanity and everything through the lens of the female form goddess we've known as Bridget. And ultimately this energy and consciousness, I know, connects into the angle of light, arc of light, we could even say, known as Ariel, known as an archangel or archangel or archangel. So think about it in that way, arch, or angle of light. So we can see that very differently, and how angel is actually not really seeing the whole truth. We'll get into that some other time because that's a fascinating exploration too. And that consciousness is angles of light coming in. Since I was a wee lass, and maybe you've heard me say this if you've listened to some other videos, but since I was little, knowing things were just not the way that they were supposed to be here on Earth. And that is not an easy thing to hold, especially when those around you are not mirroring to you. That's something that I could even know or should even know. So that's when those of us who carry that indigo, the starseed, the cosmic wanderer vibe, that's when we begin to feel like we don't belong here at all whatsoever. So of course, many of us feel that way since we're young. And because of this fact, what happens is it's way too easy for us to get caught up, to get swept up into the mainstream, into the conventional, into the material elements of this realm. And I feel like that happens to us all in some unique way for us, based on our upbringing, based on whatever situations that we find ourselves in. But then it becomes how we break free from the realm, all of those inverted processes, especially when it comes to this thing called health. So seeing the origin, the original creation aspects, when I've seen these things of this and these experiences of this Trinity form experience in visions, dream time, in messages coming through, etc., and having experienced, at least through consciousness, at least through memories and DNA, points in the timeline that we have called Terra or Gaia, knowing that this earth was a living or the experience was about a living light library, among many other things. These are such magnificent visions to hold and to see. But knowing and having experienced origin memories, or many of the other layers of DNA that are coming alive, the truth is seeing the whole truth, which is also encompassing the extreme hijacking that has taken place by other worldly beings who just want to enslave consciousness, create their own realm of death and suffering. I guess when you see all of those layers, that's what's really hit me as of late. It's a lot to hold, and especially because there's still a lot of humans in this realm that just do not want to see that whole truth, or literally can't because, of their situation, and they're stuck in a place of not only a lack of education, but just ignorance, or maybe even ignoring truth. Through a really recent intense experience, what I saw is that when you hold all of that wisdom, what happens is you go through layers of deaths and rebirths. And I guess that is exactly what I've experienced lately, is just another one of those experiences. But I guess this one was at a depth that was different than others. And knowing the truths and the layers of the hijacking that have taken place not only created the need for warriors, which again, we'll get into the root meanings of that word, but it requires the strength of a warrior. And again, the warrior does not mean war. It means protector or guardian in its truest form, but we'll go through that in a moment. But what this all really requires us to do is to go ever more deeply into the eternal now. That is the way I see it. Seeing that the now is that one thing that we have, and keeping ourselves very, very present in it. That is a necessary state to be in this shift. And seeing that now, keeping ourselves present in that, is really imperative, because we live in a time where those of us that truly know what's happening at this larger level, in as much that we know, because there's always going to be layers that are being revealed and uncovered. We are truly going into the void. We are in the void. We are in a 0 point. Because what this really means is we're traversing a time that has many unknowns, because we're having to let go of so much fear in all of its forms, the primordial fear. This is the poem that came through to me from the Merlion lineage and the Blue Dragon Tiamat when I was in Avebury Henge last October in 2023. The primordial fear, that is what we're letting go. And this is a point where I would say this is harmonization of energies, and those are taking place. This is happening already. And there's a massive healing underway, massive purging, massive cleansing, massive. And many of us are serving as the healers of the grid, because we're healing our own bodies. That's really what humans were here to do. And I'm going to go into that in another video. When we heal the Earth-Tara-Gaia timelines. So that's how important the human healing process is. We're all grid workers in that way. And I've seen what's going on at the astral level, the most subterranean level, which I've talked about in a video recently about Brigid restoration mission, reclamation mission, and the purging and cleansing of the subterranean realms. And so we are returning to a time that is going into a new experience, or re-emerging an experience. So the origin energies, the organic energies are coming alive. And it's really looking at how this realm was created before the negative hijacking happened. So going into those organic energies once again. And while, of course, this is all gorgeous, it's all wonderful truths, the process of being pioneers, of pioneering into this new experience, it is not easy. And I think it's really an understatement to even say it's not easy. But when we all can admit to the difficulties on any level, what I'm just feeling this energy of we can circle around each other to strengthen, hold, assist and to remind one another that those of us on the path that's moving with the rise of consciousness, and we do so in a vibration of sovereignty. And I imagine that all of us pioneers of what we're often calling New Earth, we just see us all circling our wagons and building like this all new camp. And while the old just falls away, but the falling away carries a lot with it. And this also has to do with what we're doing by purging, cleansing, and healing. So from my lens, if we spiritually bypass the truths and the difficulties many feel or that we feel, then what I see is that we're not honoring the code of what the goddess, lioness, lineage of warrior healers have always stood for. Now, what I've learned is that when our astral, physical, etc. bodies are supported properly, and then we give our bodies the grace of what we call time, which is a healer in and of itself, we can course correct. And of course, the how long does it take to heal factor and time frame is going to be very different for every body, whether that's an animal or a human. So this is why I have begun vibration medicine guidance, because it's 100% based on my own learnings, teachings, and the depths that I've been in, and also the experiences with myself and experiments of giving the body what it needs, and of course, even with our fur babies. So when we give our multidimensional bodies what they actually need to turn the systems back on, to heal themselves back together, more so, what's really imperative is that we're getting to the root cause of why and really what is going on. As a Blu-ray indigo, I'm asking why all the time. I make it then a point to learn so I can provide this wisdom out there through the energy of the cosmic mother. Now, I know that we can, and many are already doing this. We can revitalize this realm through this process change, this paradigm shift, when we know the deeper truths. Energy can be cultivated. The metabolic dysfunction can begin to turn around for the better to allow vitality to enter our lives. That is as much as possible in this realm. And I have so much to share on this, and that will come in its due time and within its own, it has to be on its own platform, because the very sad thing that we're dealing with is that we can't really talk about these true health wisdom things on mainstream channels. That's the new burn them at the stake model that these negative factions have taken. That's what they utilize. Yeah, all that's been a lot. And in the last week and months and even years, taking all of this in, then you hold that knowing that it hasn't been by mistake in how we got here, but rather a very well thought out plot, a very layered and complicated one, might I add. We will continue to pick apart this piece by piece in future content, because this is about uncovering original creation magic at all levels, all multidimensional levels and layers. So when it comes to health, we all know there's a huge lack of vitality overall in this world, and we can see this issue, and it's global. Of course, there are pockets, and there are a few that haven't been as affected as others. Yes, this is true. But many of us who carry this highly sensitive vibes, we're highly sensitive persons, as they say, HSPs, the empaths, right? The ones that are here to be the canary in the coal mines, as that saying goes. We don't get off as easy as others, and that's just a truth. And I am one, and I know this for a fact, because this is exactly what led me down this entire pathway. Now, and I came into this world with that. But then there was things in this world that writes itself, essentially. So, of course, we know that humans and animals, they are transitioning out of this form, this human form, and into the beyond at younger and younger ages, or at the very least, what we're seeing is massive metabolic dysfunction on some level, more and more, and again, at younger and younger ages. I just saw a whole thing not so long ago about a dog that lived till 31 years. That story of why that dog lived that long is not something I can share on here, but let me tell you, it didn't include a lot of things that your mainstream peeps are saying, this is what you should do. Let's just know these things that it is possible. And then when you hold all of this insight as to why the things have been happening at younger and younger ages, truly, it just has been so hard. But what I came to recently is that carrying all this insight, seeing all the layers of truth of what has really happened, and then looking at how health healing has been so screwed with, I fully now get why the warrior aspect is always melded with the healer aspect. The angles of light that come into this realm that many of us connect into, and when we're in a female form, the warrior, healer, goddess, or female embodied consciousness, this teaches us more about what it means to be a warrior. So what I've come to know recently is that these two angles of the consciousness must go hand in hand. It makes all the sense. The warrior becomes the guide to heal themselves and others, and the warrior must turn on the ability of that guide that can heal. So to be one who assists healing through healing modalities of any kind, they also must be a warrior. I keep using the word warrior, so I'd like to speak on this word very quickly. And I do have a video that I talk about this here in this channel, but I'll just provide some details here. While the word warrior does have the word war in it, that is not what the word warrior means. This has been the inversion and the manipulation that has changed the initial or root meanings. So being a warrior is not about fighting or causing fights by any means. This is how I would say it before we get into the etymology. The way that I would say it is that warrior means seeing things exactly as they truly are, protecting the innocent, seeing and calling out injustice, facing it, and then learning ways to provide solutions or workarounds. Simple. And then the ancient etymology that I found, so Marathi is a Hindi word for warrior, translates to essentially Yoda, which is interesting, isn't it? Which means hero or a fighter. Galati is actually an ancient Celtic term. We could say Gaelic. Gaelic is a form of Aramaic. Now we're getting into really ancient languages, which is where I need to always go because that's where truth lies, as close to the truth as we can get. Galati is a term for the word warrior. Those who were known as Galati were a source of inspiration and strength and known for great abilities like power and endurance. But the power is about the mental and metaphysical, not just physical, and maybe also physical. Vajra is a Sanskrit word, and then in Tibetan, that word is Dorje. It means a diamond-like nature, a nature that is indestructible. Being a diamond core, that is also the organic nature of Earth, and this diamond-like aspect is what the warrior, it's connected into the white diamond sun DNA that many of us are encoded with. This is the cosmic mother of dragons, lineage. Many of you female fellow warriors know you feel this. Many of you male who are also carrying the king codes, we could say, and these are the queen codes. We've been activated and we will be continuing to activate. So if you've been feeling this aspect of the true guardian warrior essence coming alive in you, this is where it's coming from. There's an amazing book called Smile at Fear by Chogyam Trungpa. And what he goes into is Vajra is associated with enlightened warriorship. And as Chogyam states, the word warrior is a feminine principle and is very powerful according to the Shambhala principles of non-aggressive warriorship, as well as the Buddhist principles of non-aggression. So the feminine principle turns into wrath is what the patriarchy has always feared. We'll get to that another time. Chogyam also says the true warrior is not like a person carrying a sword and looking behind his own shadow in case somebody's lurking there. That's an expression of cowardice. Then he goes on to say that realize eternal, youthful confidence. This confidence is connected with experiencing the first glimpse of magic in her state of being. Her mind begins to relax. She begins to develop a natural state of goodness that has no beginning or end. At that point, when wakefulness begins to take place, finally, she is transformed into a real warrior. So the core of this means that the true warrior essence is instead one that holds the beauty of an inquiring intellect, has dignity, integrity, truth, honor, justice, and shares wisdom with all beings for the betterment of all with compassion and love. 2 words come to my mind: cosmic mother. So all this is connected to the goddess lineage of the lioness warrior healers, and I'm just focusing on this goddess lineage because that is what I've always incarnated with this consciousness. And what fully came alive within me recently is just this deeper layer of awareness, and maybe one of the deepest I've faced. I have actually faced my own death. I'll share that in an upcoming video. It's about letting go. One of the most vital aspects that comes alive within the warrior healer consciousness that I've personally experienced is the truth that when we really see what has been taking place in this realm, and still is, and also has happened in other realms that have had similar takeovers, of course nothing like this one takes the cake, is that to manage the insights of seeing all of that takes a practice of letting go. Death, rebirth. It takes a warrior to bring insights of healing through the process of death and rebirth through consciousness, through conscious experiences. And then when one realizes the unity of all of us and all things as one, as part of the origin God source and original creation magical energies, well, this just keeps getting more expansive or deeper. And this past week, I had to face some of the deepest truths, letting go of what is most precious to me. One of my babies, of the furry kind, my little baby boy, has had an issue for a long time. But for the first time, we actually saw into that body via a window that the conventional practice calls an ultrasound. However, we already knew that something was going on and what that thing was. Maybe not to the magnitude, but we knew. And we've been doing everything to ensure that we give him what his body needs to heal. And when we adopted him and his brother, their first year of life was filled with so much trauma. So much so that they were trapped in a flooded animal shelter. So to this day, and they're 12 now, they're still deathly afraid of water. And when we found them and adopted them and brought them into our lives, we were living in New York City at the time. I'm not going to go into all the details, but let's just say after peering into the body, a piece of me had to let go. He's fine. I'm fine. He's happy. So happy. But it was just another lesson of death and rebirth through consciousness. But while this is something that many of us face in a multitude of ways, letting go. Letting go of something is, you're letting go of something. That is a loss of something, whatever that something is. This is about the realization that lives under that. And it was the Lioness warrior healer lineage gift to me. And I am saying this for all that perhaps need to hear this. I realize there's a piece of me that, as someone who is here to help this realm heal in my unique way, including my own body heal, I am so tightly wound around this concept that we call life. Because when you've experienced so much unnecessary suffering and death and so on for eons, when you've seen it, watched it, know it, remember it, that leaves a mark. When you're so tightly wound around things like that, and when you see origin, when you hold the organic energies in you, you've seen other timelines, all you want to do is return things to the way that you know that they should be. You carry and hold memories in DNA. I've seen origin, I've seen organic energies, and let me tell you, it's freaking beyond magnificent. But I want so badly to fix things here, and I have been so tightly wound around this concept of I must fix things. Being tightly wound around that means that I'm actually not truly living in the truth of the now. Does that make sense? So this has been yet another death and rebirth of consciousness layer I had to learn to let go. Let go of life so that I could begin to truly accept what's happening here, what has actually happened, and on many levels, again, is still happening. Yes, it is being course corrected, but that is not happening tomorrow. So the process of letting go is the key. And in this deeper layer of letting go of life, and it's not letting go and then not caring or thinking, oh, this is just all a fake facade illusion, so who cares? That's not, letting go is not that. I realized through the Lioness warrior healer lineage that I must accept things as they are to be able to let go of being able to fix everything. And through the acceptance process, I see that every second is precious. So I've had to learn to accept that we can only do as best we can here with what we have. We don't have healthy soil everywhere. There's still so much unnecessary suffering. There's far too many poisons in our air, water, and food. But we must rejoice in the organic energies that are coming alive again. We must rejoice in the fact that there are so many of us true warriors coming alive, turning on solutions, and our work is only going to build ripples that extend faster and faster outward. Small as they may seem, many of us sages, healers, warriors must work behind the scenes because that's how we are serving in this time frame. I've had to come to terms with losing the most precious things to me. My darling fur babies, others that will come, my best friend and partner, my husband Mark. At some point, I will go. It all ends. And accepting that is really required. No matter what the format of how it happens, and what we're fixing is how beings leave this realm and go back to where they need to go, or to go to other realms where it's easier. That is the beauty of what's taking place. Again, reclamation of origin, right? And so this realm has really been hostile territory for such a long time, tens of thousands of years, and many, many lives have been and are still being lost too early, too soon. But if we can look that truth in the face and accept that it is so, then we regain power within ourselves. And so the letting go process has allowed me to know that we can only do what we can with what we have right now. We can only do as best that we can with wisdom that we hold right now. More things to be revealed, as this is the great unveiling. And the other deeper layer here is looking at death and seeing it as not something that we should ever fear. I think that is the primordial fear of which these negative factions have truly been eating. That is their food, because that is a true primordial fear, a very difficult one to let go of. But rather, we accept death as transition, a transformation of our power into another form. And the deepest layer yet is to truly feel and get, without a doubt, that death is what gives life its meaning. The awareness of our limited time brings depth, beauty, and purpose to our existence. But what I also know is that all of us who knows what is possible and what's truly happening in this world, we seek and should bring in as much vitality back into ourselves and into those we love as we can. And this includes our animals. No more injectable items, if you know what I'm saying. No more inorganic foods. No more kibble for the animals. No more of the things that do us harm. When we stand up and we say no to all of that stuff, then we do the right things and do the best that we can with those things. Because vitality is what allows us to bring in more enjoyment into our lives, making any day the brightest and most precious day that we can have. The energies, as I've integrated this, that it's far more than just letting go. This is the diamond sun DNA weaving its way in, turning itself on. This is going through the star seeds, indigos, here to bring back the unity consciousness. Of course, this is called the Christos, the Christ, or the crystal consciousness of unity. This is the law of one turning on in our very being, in the quantum, in the subatomic particles and aspects of who we are. And this is connecting many of us in goddess form, which again means the female form, back into the sacred architecture of this realm that is original and organic. This is the Sophianic architecture or codes, allowing us women to dispel the false matrix, the lunar matrix. And what we're doing is we're re-imprinting solar aspects of who we truly are. We are letting go of eons of deep, deep, deep pain. If we see this together as a reclamation of power, of healing, and connecting back truly into our true lineages, then I think this becomes easier. And we may continue to weep and to feel, but as we do so, what I see is that we are transmuting. And the way is to awaken to the warrior, as discussed, not an inversion of that word warrior, but of the true diamond sun, that feminine energy. And by the way, this energy seeps into men and women alike. For many of us in female form, though, as we're learning how to transmute the fear and all that has taken place through the falsified matrix, again, the lunar feminine aspects, which aren't organic, all of that consciousness that's tied to all the falsity, all the records of timelines that are associated with that all, what it's doing as it breaks down and breaks away from within us, we are having to remember and dispel that grief and trauma. And we're doing that on behalf of all of us, the men and women that have had these impressions of this false matrix aspect within us. So we are reclaiming our power as the solar children, sons, daughters of the true original and the organic and the primeval God source energy, the true God source energy. So my desires, let us all, fur baby or human alike, the earth, all things seek to bring vitality into ourselves, into our homes, into our communities, because this is how we regain our lives, taking them back from these vile factions that desire to continue to break that very thing down, vitality. And then that is how we stand as warriors, to rise above it all, to see the beauty that we are all seeing come alive in the very fabric of the original engineering of this realm. And in seeing that happening, of the engineering in our bodies, it's coming back online and allowing us to tap into wisdom that wasn't potentially available before, or seeing the truths of what's actually happening. So all of us, all things, hold energetic and physical elements, for all of us are multidimensional. The planet's multidimensional. So I hope that this can help others that are of this lineage. I want to put it out into the vibrational fields because I stand with you, my fellow lioness, healer, warriors, and we are rising together. And I feel your presence here and those that have been, including incarnations of many of us from other timelines. And as we all ignite the sacred warrior within, know that we are all brothers and sisters in the work of the organic creation magic, because we are bringing it alive and allowing it to come alive through us. I hope that this helps you to awaken more of your magic. So subscribe to this channel to get more videos that are meant to illuminate the path for the indigos and starseeds and all of the humans that are here with sacred missions, serving as pioneers in this massive paradigm shift of consciousness. Please share this video with someone you feel would benefit. And together we are remembering original creation magic. Thank you for watching.